So this is my discussion video log on the last uh, composition in Movement 2. This one was working title of Winterbourne View, and this was my attempt to sort of write a piece that could translate very easily into a song with vocal melodies and lyrics and everything like that. So I'm gonna break it down into smaller sections because it's like a 6 minute. It's over 6 minutes long due to repetitions and stuff like that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break it down into individual sections, so that the video is not like an hour long. But we'll start off with the first section. So we've got here just a clean sound, very easy. Basically, that first section there, it's playing an E minor 9, and then extending the harmony by shifting the harmony note of the F sharp up to a G, and I love the sound of this because you've got all of the open strings ringing out, and then you've got that small melodic shift. So if we just and then that little rhythmic turnaround, which is highlighted better in the bass, is something that it's a recurring theme throughout this entire piece. So you'll hear that running through the entirety of the verses, the chorus. It's even sort of present in the bridge. And there's a variation of it in the outro, the coda of the song as well. So yeah, so we've got that. It's in 6/8, obviously, as you can hear with that swing. And that was another thing. I wanted to write something that had more of a swing to it, just to experiment with a different idea, because a lot of the stuff that I've been writing has been in 4/4, which is fine, and I've done a lot of work to get different variations in rhythmic patterns and phrasing and all that sort of thing in each piece that's in 4/4, and try and really squeeze as much out of 4/4 as I can. But it was something that I wanted to do, was to write something that was so obviously 6/8 and had that swinging feel. And this piece was perfect for it. So the other thing we've got here is just these two lead guitar parts, and they're there more to fill out a soundscape more than anything else, and they're just picking out notes from the chords. It's very, very simple musically, this section. So that's your verse section all done there. Very, very simple. And then we get to the chorus. So I think the two bands that influenced this song the most were a band called Breaking Benjamin, and their influence comes in later in the song, later in the piece. And it's a very specific sort of reference that's influenced by them. But the other one was an artist called Tremonti, with the guitarist from Creed and Alter Bridge, Mark Tremonti. It's his solo project, and they've done some progressive style music on their latest record, A Dying Machine, which I'll link in the blog post. And when the thing that's always struck me about Mark Tremonti's playing, like whether it was in Tremonti or Alter Bridge or Creed, when he writes something in 6/8, there's always a certain sort of vibe to it, and a certain atmosphere surrounding it. And it was just something that I really wanted to work with, because it's got this sort of dark feel to it with the chords, which was very intentional, with that E minor phrasing that we talked about earlier, moving to a sort of G variant and then an A, or an A minor variant, and then once we get to the chorus, it's a bit different again. So what I'll do is I'll just shout the chords as they come. So you've got C, E minor, D, E minor up the octave, C, E minor, and then it's a sort of a D over F sharp variant. And that's your chorus chords. So again, it's all very simple, and that's again the influence from Tremonti. And then with this lead guitar part, it was quite a specific example. I was sort of trying to blend sort of a rock lead with sort of a folky lead, I guess, because of that swing. I wanted to try and use the delay and the different effects to create, again, the trails that I've talked about in other videos. But I used sort of hammer-ons and slides in a different way here, and I really enjoy the effect of them, so we'll just solo those. So there's that little hammer off there where I'm hitting other strings so they ring out. So you hear how the delays are affecting the sound, and then you've got those little pull-offs that are hitting other strings to create sort of chords, and the slides to make it sound a bit a lot smoother and less jagged, to go along with the really sort of legato feel of the rhythm guitar. So we'll play the chorus with everything there. And we've got those drums syncing up with that rhythmic, which you'll hear in a second. And that was, again, very specific. I wanted that to be the key element of the piece, that little rhythmic turnaround. So we go through the first the verse again, very, very similar. I don't think there's any changes, apart from some lead variations. Then we get to the second chorus, and we bring in some slightly heavier guitar. And the drums have changed feel there, so it's more of a waltz feel. And then they revert back to the usual swing. here, we actually use a very, very similar chord progression to one that we used in Baker Street Pubs, which was the section of playing through the F chord, you know, with the F in the bass, E in the bass, F in the bass, G in the bass. This is very, very similar. And then there, that little turnaround there on bar 71 is something that I really wanted to add in another rhythmic variation and a very specific melody in the guitar. So I achieved this by playing the open E string as a pedal note, a pedal tone, and then changing the melodic note on the A string. And it just very simply goes up the scale, you know, very simply. And then back into the chord, and then here we have that variation again, doubled. Solo that instrumental channel, that chorus lead channel. And then here we get that melodic section that I talked about at the end of Baker Street Pubs. And this is the very specific reference to Breaking Benjamin that I have. Very, very specific, from a song called Diary of Jane. And I did sort of take a lot of inspiration from it in terms of note choice, in terms of guitar tone. Everything was heavily inspired by it. So I'll pop that on with the... I've got the drums there changing to the ride instead of playing on the cymbals, going to the ride cymbal instead of crashes or the hi-hat. This is like the emotional climax of this piece. And then here, we change back to that pedal note melodic phrase from the sort of bridge function, but with a variation in rhythm again, with the turnaround of the ba 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 ba. There we go. And then we speed it up here, double time it. And you think that was the end of the piece there. It sort of does feel like a natural end, but what I wanted was a little acoustic outro with a guitar solo. That was sort of quite emotional and very melodic again to suit that that movement too sort of brief. So we keep with the similar chord progression. It's just E minor to C add 9 to D. what I wanted was, again, that finger-picked feel, the very delicate, and also you'll notice the pulsing of the root note of each chord as that sort of pedal tone again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that technique of the finger picking with that the note hitting every single beat without fail is, you know, to really reinforce that bass bass note and the chord tone, is something that I again took inspiration from Mark Tremonti from. It's very indicative of his finger picking style, and again I'll link a couple of examples in the blog post for that. So this section doesn't really change. It doesn't. There's no extra layers added in other than that lead part. But I just wanted that nice, relaxed outro after the really intense, heavy chorus at the end, with that turn around into this finger-picked part. But hopefully that explains some of the choices I made for this piece. And next we'll be moving on to movement 3, which is where things get dark. Thanks.